this live for the wrong day because in my brain, I was thinking that it's the 2nd of November, and it is not. It is the 1st of November, but we're going to go on because it's a Friday, and I already have my setup ready to make some Vin Chaud, some mulled wine. And I just want the wine, let's be honest. So we're going to make Vin Chaud tonight. This is the French version of mulled wine. If you go in a restaurant here in France and you order, if you want like a hot wintertime beverage, this is my personal favorite. It's really easy to make, especially the French version. I am not going to make exactly the French version because I like to add in some bells and whistles. So this is kind of like my version of the French version, but it's super easy to make. You don't need a lot of ingredients and it's fairly fast. And I'll show you my secret to making it, let's be honest, extra alcoholic, which is what I'm in it for. So I got a large-ish pot, and I make sure that it's reasonably thick, because if you have a pot that's too thin, it's easy to burn the wine and to have problems with the heat. So I make sure that it's reasonably thick. Hi, Laurent. Laurent is here. He's at the opera. He's in the middle of a show right now. This is going to be waiting for you when you get home. Anyway, so I've got my bottle of red wine. I just got the cheapest one at the supermarket, which is in France, like maybe €3 wine. Like you can get a actually very drinkable wine for like 2, 3, 4 euros in most supermarkets. So I've just got Orme de Cambrai, which is one of my very favorites if you're just getting like a vin de table, a table wine. And I am going to turn on my oven, or my stovetop rather. Is it on? Yes. And I'm going to pour in not all of the wine. So this is my secret for making it really good, is that you don't want to use all the wine in the beginning, because if it boils, the more it gets boiled and heated, the less alcoholic it becomes. So what I do is I just put in enough to have about 1 centimeter of wine in the bottom of the pan. You can see kind of how much is left in the bottle there. I'm going to leave the rest for later. So the rest of my ingredients are, we've got sugar. It's nice if you can find brown sugar, but sometimes that is a little tricky in France. And then I've got oranges, I've got nutmeg, and I've got cinnamon. And a very optional ingredient that I'm going to include is maple syrup, or sirop d'érable, syrup of the maple. That's not a traditional French thing at all, but I think it's delicious, so I'm going to do that. I've got my wine up on high here. I'm just waiting for it to heat up and start to boil. Maybe I'll move it onto my slightly stronger eye, which is not as good for camera purposes, but much better for time purposes. And I am going to slice up some of the orange while I'm waiting for that. And one thing I want to do tonight is, for you guys who are regulars on the channel, I want to talk about what we're going to be doing for the winter, because as you know, I'm a circus artist. Winter is one of my busiest times, especially December. And so that kind of limits the time that I can be at Everdeen. In fact, that's why I'm here in Paris right now, is because I have a gig tomorrow. I have gigs coming up. So this week I'm in Paris. My wine is getting delicious and warm. So the plan for Everdeen for the next few months is going to be a little bit adjusted based on my work schedule. I'm going down, just going to grab my wooden spoon over here behind the phone. There we go. I'm going down to Everdeen in just a couple of days. I'm going to be there for about a week. I'm going to try to film as many videos as possible. As my wine's heating up, by the way, I'm just kind of stirring my wine. Hi, Nicolette. How are you? And then I'm going to be down at Everdeen for just under a week. Then I've got to come back because I'm teaching some aerial classes, and then I'm going back down to Everdeen for an undetermined amount of time. And then that will be it for November. In December, I don't know what's going to happen. But basically what this means for the channel, because basically in December I have like a lot of gigs and a longer contract. So basically what this means for the channel is I am going to see how many videos I can get filmed while I'm there over the next couple of weeks. But once I have an idea of like how much I can film, I am going to be spacing that out. So I'm trying to film enough that I'll have a weekly video for every Monday, long form video of about 30 minutes. Yeah, I'm spacing it out, and it's just going to depend on how much I get done. So I'll have a clearer idea soon. Anyway, my wine is boiling now, and that's another advantage of just using a little bit of the wine at the beginning, is that you can get boiling quite quickly. So I'm going to add in my cinnamon. Basically what I'm going to do is add all my ingredients into this much wine and then add in the rest of the wine right at the end. Just heat it up enough to get it hot, not boil it because that boils off the alcohol, and then that'll be the finished product. Hello, Zach Abbott. I'm cooking French mulled wine, the Vin Chaud that we have here in France. So I'm going to go ahead and add all of my cinnamon. The cinnamon's almost done. I think I have about, I'm going to say roughly 1 teaspoon in here. You can add based on taste, but I quite like cinnamon, so I can just go nuts. And I'm going to add a couple of dashes of nutmeg. This is a very precise measurement system, but you don't want to go too heavy on the nutmeg because it is a really strong flavor. It will take over. Then I've got 2 oranges here. One of them I have sliced up into some nice thin slices. The other one I'm just going to cut in half. And I'm going to take half and just squeeze my orange juice right into the wine to give it that extra little orangey flavor. Some people also use a lemon in this, and that's really good too, but I prefer just to go straight for orange. It's simple. It's one less ingredient. So I'm squeezing my orange juice right in, and now I'm going to go sugar crazy. However much sugar you think is enough, it's probably not enough. If you like a less sweet Vin Chaud, obviously use less sugar, but I really go pretty nuts with the sugar. You might notice that I'm not measuring it. That is because I do it to taste. So generally what I do is I try to get this like preliminary wine mixture tasting good. Then I can add the rest of the wine, and then I'll taste and add a few extra things based on taste. However, I do want to put in like a lot of sugar right now, because if I put the sugar in at the end, it won't have time to dissolve. So actually you do want to get as much sugar melted into the wine as you can right at the beginning. All right, so this is looking pretty good. I'm going to give it a little taste. I haven't done the maple syrup yet. I'm saving that till the end. Oh yeah, it's tasting delicious, but I can tell I need some more sugar. And I'm going to do just another touch of nutmeg. You do want this mixture at the beginning to be stronger than obviously your end product, because obviously you're going to dilute it when you add the rest of the wine. I'm going to squeeze my other orange half in. And oh hi, hello helpers. Hi mom, hi dad. Dad says we don't want anything to miss anything you have to do with wine. I know. Zach says, is it to make a sauce or a base? Yeah, I'm making the a thick version first, and then we're diluting it right at the end. So it's kind of like making a sauce, I guess, or a base, or like a roux if you're someone who cooks gumbo. It's like making a roux for gumbo. So let's. Okay, that's seeming pretty good. I am now going to add in some maple syrup. Just a little. I don't want it to like be the most noticeable taste, but I think it's nice to have it as like an undertone. Mom says, I wish we were there, especially for mulled wine. Well, we did a very like nice thing during COVID when all of us had like a lot of time at home. Is my mom and I would get on Zoom or WhatsApp video call and cook together, and like we make sure we have all the same ingredients, and then we pick a recipe and cook something together. So Mom, we could do that with the mulled wine if you want to. That is definitely an option. And that was so nice, like especially like during the pandemic when everyone was in quarantine, and like it really felt like having someone over and doing activity, even though we weren't in the same country. It was really nice. Um, let's try this again. Oh yeah, that maple syrup just gives it a little bit more of a rich, deep flavor. So I think we're ready to add in the orange slices. I slice them pretty thin because I want them to cook quickly. You could also do orange chunks though if you want. The idea is that they get not completely cooked, but like very slightly cooked. Um, Although in a lot of restaurants, if you order a vin chaud here in France, you will just get like a vin chaud with an orange stuck on the side, like a non-incorporated orange. But I like to incorporate my oranges, and a lot of people do it that way too here in France. So we're just letting them get a little warm, a little. It's not sautéed if there's liquid. I guess steamed. It's not steamed. Wined. And letting them absorb the alcohol. And my other favorite version of like alcohol and fruit, which I'm not doing today, but it's a really great version, so I'm going to tell you about it, is I once had a birthday party where I wanted to make cupcakes for my friend whose birthday it was. And I soaked cherries, like if you know like the cherries that come in a jar that are already in like sweetened and like a sauce. I took the cherries out, I soaked them in gin, and then put them on top of the cupcakes, and that's one of my favorite things I've ever cooked. So if you're looking for like a great birthday recipe, cupcakes with frosting and like one alcoholic cherry on top it's a winner. Okay, so my oranges are getting a little bit cooked. I don't want them to get overly cooked, so I'm going to add now the rest of my wine. I'll just angle you guys down so you can see what's happening in there. So got my slices in, and I'm really just pouring in the rest of my wine. And as soon as I put in the rest of that wine, I'm going to taste again. I know that there's a lot of tasting involved. It's for quality control. It's not because it's delicious. Oh, it is delicious. So this definitely needs a little bit more sugar now. I'm going one more time with the sugar. And I'm going one more time with the maple syrup. Not too much, just a little bit. This is all totally done to taste. That's how I cook. Laurent often stares at me and like in stressed ways I cook because he's like, you don't measure anything and you don't time anything. And I'm like, no. So one more time, let's taste. That's going pretty well. I'm pretty happy with that. So I can taste the syrup. It's not super strong, but it's definitely something I can feel in there. I can also taste the orange, and I can taste the spices, and definitely the sugar. So it's really like, even though it's just a wine, there's really like a large palette of different things that are delicious. I'm pretty happy with that. So while I'm letting that just get a little warmer, it's already warm, but I want it to be just below the point of boiling. I'm just gonna grab my special Vin Chaud mug. Although, technically this is not a Vin Chaud mug. Technically this is a Glühwein mug because I got it when I was working in Germany several years ago. This was at a German Christmas market, and in Germany they have what's basically the same thing but like the German version, and it's called Glühwein. And I always keep this to drink my Glühwein out of. And I'm just realizing that my ladle is in the dishwasher. So I think we're gonna have to do a pour situation. That's gonna be very dangerous, but I haven't had any of the wine yet, so it's fine. So I think that this is pretty much hot enough. Let's just test one last time. Oh yeah, that is perfect. So I'm gonna turn off my stove and attempt to pour, and I will not be holding this in my hand while I pour. Zach says, I bet it's good stuff. Warm. It is delicious. And Chris Jones, hi Chris Jones, says, kannst du auch Deutsch sprechen? Ich lerne Deutsch. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. Ich arbeite in Deutschland manchmal as ein bisschen Deutsch. Yeah, I'm working on it. Angela says, when I cook, I feel and taste. That's the best way to cook. Like, I honestly just, everything is, it for me is go by taste, go by, you know, how's this? Should I add a little more of this? Because, like, you just got to be free when you cook. All right, here we go. I'm going to angle you down so you can see the impending disaster that is this. This is going to be bad, isn't it? Oh, no. Oh. Yes. Okay, I spilled a little. But in general, I think that's not too bad. And I'll just grab a paper towel so I can clean off the outside of my mug and show you guys the finished product, which is my Glühwein mug with some Glühwein or some Vin Chaud or some mulled wine inside it. I'm very, very happy. Oh, Zach says about to make a funnel. Nice. That sounds delicious. Oh, now I want funnel cake. Oh, oh yeah, that feels great. Especially right now because I just came home from aerial training and I turned off the heat while I was gone all day. And so it's a little cold in the apartment. And so I was like, oh, this is the one. I'm very happy. Anyway, Dad says about 6 more tastes of wine, she can speak any language. Dad. Well, before Dad gets too punchy, I think I'm going to wrap this up. But this has been super fun. I just had the idea for this afternoon when I was wondering what to do for the live tonight. So yeah, I think this turned out pretty good. Now I've got Vin Chaud. So it's a win for me. Thanks for joining in and having a nice little chit chat on here. And I will see you guys on Monday for a full-length video. Like I said before, I'm working on trying to make it so we can have full-length videos every Monday. As usual, throughout the whole winter season. I have high hopes. I think that's going to happen. And also we'll continue doing these lives on Friday nights, every Friday, 9:30 France time. And yeah, and also patron videos. I try to do a patrons. Your video this week is late. I do know that. I've just been crazy with Halloween and rehearsals for gigs and stuff. But I'm gonna sit down and edit it right now. If you want to become a patron and get little extras and extra videos and stuff, then the link is down below any of my videos on this channel. And I think that's it. So I will see you guys next time. Have a good evening / afternoon / whatever time it is wherever you guys are, and I will see you soon.